we're going to start off with the Punch-Out franchise, which had notable releases in the arcade, the NES, and also the Wii, as well as actually the SNES too, right? There's been a bunch of, or there's been several Punch-Out games, I guess we could say. And it has been some time since we've seen one, the Wii being the last one. I just feel like this is a franchise that definitely has some ability to come back. Summer, last time we talked about this, you pointed out something I hadn't thought about, which is they're kind of racist depictions.
You hadn't thought about that?
Wow, that really says a lot about you, Patrick.
Until you pointed it out, when I was like, oh, I think Punch-Out could come back, and you're like, I don't know, it's kind of racist. I was like, oh yeah, I guess it is.
There was a character in the arcade version of Punch-Out that wasn't in the NES game. He was an Italian boxer named Pizza Pasta.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
my kind
that's-
of guy.
And
That's pretty cool.
and that's probably the least racist one. Right?
Well, you can't really be racist against Italians, but anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's the least racist. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think that if they brought this back, they would have to like give them real names and maybe
Overhaul.
not just be like stereotypes of characters, which would suck because you would want to like see some of these characters come back because they are kind of like
He's racist.
but that beside the point. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it would be nice to see the characters come back and maybe be like, hey, by the way, their real name has always been Armando Iannucci or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that because he's a famous filmmaker. But
you're right. If they could lean into like, this was a bit that we did, and because the premise of it, and we could just have a boxing game again. And I do think it's worth pointing out that it's odd that you're right. The last game came out on the Wii, obviously, because boxing, motion controls. It's weird that we didn't get it on the Switch for like similar, parallel reasons.
Yeah, 15 years ago, Punch-Out for the Wii came out.
Weird.
And if ARMS, like to bring up ARMS again, was kind of like, they're like, we can't do a Punch-Out because we're doing ARMS and it's very similar. And if they see ARMS as something not worth bringing back, I could see being like, well, what if we tried Punch-Out for that reason? Because it sounds like
what if
Switch 2 will have Joy-Cons.
What if we got
Yeah.
ARMS Punch-Out?
Yeah, like an ARMS Punch-Out crossover.
Because
would
I love
actually
the
be
character
pretty
design
cool.
in ARMS.
Like,
and I like the
it'd be
character
like
design in Punch-Out. Yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, it'd be like Marvel versus Capcom. I think that's a great idea.
Wait, we're just pitching a whole new thing.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about, we've talked about the franchise a bit.
Well, first of all, we've pitched a couple things. One is ARMS versus Punch-Out. The other one is woke Punch-Out,
Yes.
which I do think we need to do. But either way, I think that Next Level Games, which is the company that made Punch-Out for the Wii, I don't think we know what they're working on right now. I doubt they're doing another Luigi's Mansion, although they could be. But either way, I think that it would not surprise me to see them come back to do Punch-Out. They came back to do Mario Strikers, a series that they had done in the past. So the fact that Nintendo will tap them to bring back franchises that haven't been around for a bit, I think does lead some credence to Punch-Out returning. I would think that Punch-Out would be pretty likely to come back, maybe even more likely than ARMS.
I would put it in, like, what is our tier list? Like S, A, B, C, right?
Oh,
F.
are we doing this
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would propose that Punch-Out would be somewhere in the A, B range. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I'd give it an A. Yeah, that feels pretty likely to me. I think that I think Punch-Out is one of the most like recognizable Nintendo franchises. There was also Punch-Out stuff around the Mario movie. Like there were Punch-Out Easter eggs and stuff in the Mario movie.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Garrett? Yeah.
I think that it's probably likely-ish. I think that the two things you run into, obviously, number one, every single person you fight's a racial stereotype. It's a tough river to cross, but I think you can cross it. I think there's a way you can make them like it's the year 5000. It's all cyborgs that are racial stereotypes. And then
that's ARMS.
And then the second thing is that it used to be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that they cut him after the whole ear stuff or whatever for the Wii game. But maybe, now he's in the cultural zeitgeist again, a sympathetic underdog. You know what I mean?
No,
You
just
use him.
do
and
Jake Paul's Punch-Out.
Oh my
then
God.
they're definitely keeping the racism if they do that.
They got it. I mean, at that point, it's a given.
At
Yeah,
that point, it's S, and I'm not buying it. Like,
I'd put it at like probably A tier. I don't want to spoil my thoughts on anything else, but I think that if a game was featured in Smash Ultimate, I think it's more likely that they are top of mind for Nintendo. If they made a freaking amiibo of the character, you know that somebody cares about it. You know what I mean?
I mean, Captain Falcon, that means nothing.
Yeah,
And we got a new F-Zero game this past
That's
year.
true.
Fuck,
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, so are we okay putting it in A?
Punch Out 99.
For now. Yeah,
Yeah,
Punch
we
Out.
got it in A. We can always shift.
Sorry, you just said Punch Out 99 and I got a little erection. But all right, go ahead and move on.
We should move on.